Hello my dear YouTuber friends, and I hope you're all keeping well. Welcome to this new video. As you can see, I'm in the wonderful Comanche. Link down below in the description to my review of this wonderful aircraft at London City Airport runway 27. Nothing unusual about that, but if I jump in the cockpit, show you the TPM unit in the Comanche. So that's the throttle TP propeller and mixture unit in a Comanche. Nothing unusual about that. Let me bring in my camera. As you can see, I've got an amazing gift from Authentikit. It's the replica TPM unit from the Comanche. As you can see, they're 1-to-1 and they work 1-to-1 as well. Wonderful resolution on these push-pull levers here. Look at that. Replica parking brake with all the associated noises. I love doing that. Hydraulic dampening Hall effect sensors. You know the best bit about this is it comes in kit form. Every nut, bolt, wire, mag hole unit. I'll be showing you a bit about that later. Every single little bit and piece of this came in a kit form. I built this. Now I've got it clamped to my desk and I'm using it in a wonderful sense, wonderful feeling, such an immersive feeling in Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm going to get into all that in this video, where you get this, how it comes in a kit form, and then show you some of the assembly of this, and then we'll go for a flight test with it in Microsoft Flight Sim. Very reasonably priced, as I'm going to show you as well. Listen, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get on with this video. Okay, so let me start with pointing you towards the Authentikit.org website, which is linked down below in the description. Phil, the founder and inventor of these products, reached out to me and asked me if I would like to review this. I jumped at the chance. I've always wanted to review one of the Authentikit products. It's fantastic. This is linked down below, like I said. Obviously, this is for PC Microsoft Flight Sim only at the moment. Let's go to products. And if you just hover over products, go to the Comanche here. Or select the Comanche. Scroll down a bit. It gives you all the information there. All kinds of stuff you can do with this. And that's how I've got it mounted to my desk, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, you can either download the files if you've got all the bits and pieces yourself, a 3D printer and all the mechanical bits. Buy hardware kit. Which, like me, I don't own a 3D printer, so I've got it open twice, never mind. And then it takes you to this page. Now, you can click on full description. It tells you what comes with the kit. Shall I show you something on screen? That's what comes with the kit. Beautifully presented box. That was something I was not expecting. I was expecting it to come in a beaten old brown box and you just get all the bits and pieces and there you go, you get on with it. Nope. You get a beautifully presented box. There's a YouTube video which I'll link down below in the description to follow when you're assembling it, so you can assemble it step by step with the chap who did the YouTube video as well. Wonderful video. I'm subscribed to them. Go and subscribe to them yourself. It'll be well worth it. And then it comes to the price, £135 for all that, which is very competitively priced. You look for a push-pull unit. I don't know if you can buy a Comanche unit elsewhere, but any push-pull lever TPM unit, you're going to be paying roughly double that or more in some cases. So there we go. If we hover over each picture, you can see the way it comes presented is incredible. £135. If you have a 3D printer, you can buy just the hardware kit. Look at that, £50. So what you get with the hardware kit are all the wires and all the mechanical parts you need to assemble the units. Does it give you levers? Let's just see. Does it give you the levers as well? So you get the whole sensors, neodymium magnets. I could never say that. Do you get the actual levers, or do you have to print them out yourself? Anyway, I'm sure you know, if you've got a 3D printer, what this is all about. I don't. That is an absolute steal. And again, follow the YouTube video for how to assemble this. Okay, let me now take it to the part where I was in the midst of assembling the Comanche TPM unit. Okay, so this is a part I wanted to show you. I'm in progress of building this, maybe 50% through. I've got the mixture and throttle levers installed, lots of wires, which I'll come on to later, and lots of mechanisms happening in there. An important point I want to mention, and I'll come on to this little gadget in a moment, just to illustrate the point. This is assuming, these kits are assuming, you don't have a 3D printer. If you're going to order the whole kit like this, you don't have a 3D printer, but you're getting every bit and pieces all separate, and you're gonna including a multitude of screws. Oh, just dropped one. I'll pick that out of place. A multitude of screws, probably a couple of hundred different screws, and wires. You get a bag full of wires which you have to cut. It's assuming you have that, but you're going to put the kit together bit by bit. None of it's assembled. And you even get things like an encoder board. This will help you attach it to your PC, so your PC will recognize it. Magnets. Even a north-south magnet there, so you can get the north of the neodymium, whatever they're called, little cube magnets, which you have to put into these mechanisms. To illustrate it, I was building, you've got to build 3 of these for each of the shaft. That goes in there. And that'll be my propeller. It's got little teeth so that it will move freely and smoothly. I was building the first one, and can I show you? If I can show you, there's a little part along this. There you go. Oops. Can you see those little bare wires there? Metal teeth. There's a little plastic gizmo thing, and it's got metal things sticking out of it, metal teeth. You've got to strip back the wires and attach it to those metal prongs, rather, via, now goodness knows what I've done, doesn't matter, via little, oh, hang on a second, I can get them, sorry for moving away from the camera, via these little gizmos, or gimbals, rather. Is the camera picking them up? They are absolutely tiny. I've got it right close to the camera, they're still small, little golden gimbals type thing. And they're almost impossible to see, certainly for me, with the naked eye. There you go, now it's focused, with the naked eye. They are tiny. Thankfully you get a good few of them, because I've lost a couple of them already. Building that first one, I thought, is it beyond me? I've never done anything like this to this extent. I built an arcade unit where all the parts were supplied, and I just had to put the encoder in and attach the joystick buttons. Very simple. And the software. Never done anything like this. I took my time. I've taken many days. Thankfully, there's a YouTube video they point you to, and the person doing that guides you through this step by step and makes it look a lot easier. When you get to the part where you've done all 3 of these and got the wires attached, he says, well done, you've got past the hard bits, and that gave me a bit of relief. This part seems easy compared to building those 3. If, like me, you've never done it, just keep going, but have in mind when you buy this, you've got to put probably quite a few hours. If you're used to doing these type of things, you can probably do it in a couple of hours or a few hours. For me and you, normal people, the average person, give yourself, maybe do it over a week. I've done it over a few days now, and I've just been taking my time when I'm doing these, making sure that none of the wires are touching, following the YouTube instructions. Link down in the description, by the way. Do go and look at the video to give you some idea. Following each of his instructions step by step, just being very, very careful. They do supply you with a screwdriver with 2 different bits. Like I showed you, the wire stripper, you just need a pair of scissors, basically. That's all you'll need. There's no soldering. You've just got to be aware there's a fair amount of work. Listen, I'm going to crack on, and I'm going to start connecting some of these wires. There's many different wires, as you can see here, to some of the encoders, and I'll bring you back when I'm a little bit more along. Okay, I'm a good bit along now, getting towards the end of the build, I hope. I've got the actual Comanche unit itself, the main unit, all put together, as you can see, all wired, including, I can show you these mechanisms now, as I've got the camera set up on a tripod. The brake, isn't that brake great? You pull it out and push it in to set it. Can you hear that little satisfying click? When you do that, you've got to make sure the wires don't catch. I've checked all that. That's the mixture. That all works fine. Lovely bit of resistance on these. Throttle, obviously this will be clamped to your desk, so you won't have to hold it like this. And propeller. They've all got a really nice resolution apparently too. Really, really long resolution to them. And throttle. Anyway, that's all done. If it's going to fail, it's going to fail on that little, putting those ends into that little encoder box. That was mightily fiddly. You realise how weak your eyes is when you can't see what's going on. I had to take a close-up picture with my camera to make sure I had them all in correctly. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. That will come later when I connect it all together. And now assembling. Let me just put that to one side. I'm now finishing assembling, as you can see, the weird science bit. It's all those wires. The universal hub. I've got the DuPont wires in. That's what these are called, into the encoder. Now I'm getting all these ends into that one there, and that's the fiddly bit. I don't know how, if you can see how fiddly that can be. Really, really, first time I've had to do anything like this really. You have to shave a little bit of the end off and then put them all into this box in order. When I've done that, it's complete and I can test it. It's been interesting, always been fun. Sometimes it always felt at some point, oh, can I do this? Is this gonna work? I'm almost there. I'm just a few minutes out. So what I'll do, I'll finish putting the wires into that little box now, and let's test it. Okay, so I'm on the desktop on my PC, my swanky new PC. Let me just bring in the camera. So there you go. Hopefully you can see the TPM unit fully assembled now. Now, I've got to say, I did have a couple of issues when I wired it. The throttle was working fine, and the parking brake was working. I had to go back and check the wires with the propeller and mixture. I had something turned around in one of the mag holes. I think it was one of the mag hole sensors or something of that sort. Had to double check it. I'm not an expert with assembling these. I've mentioned it before. You may not be either. It depends how good you are with this kind of system. It's my first time doing something like this, but it was fun. Troubleshooting, finding what was wrong and goodness knows what. And eventually I did find what was wrong, and it's all working fine now. Now, to test this on your desktop, you go to... Oh, let me just get my keyboard in my hands. That wasn't very well prepared, was it? And let's not tangle up the wires there. Okay, you hold down the window key and press R. Windows key and R. And you want to type in to the search box that comes up here, joy.cpl. So joy, full stop, CPL. And press OK there. And as long as you've got your TPM unit, your Authentikit TPM unit attached to your computer, it should come up Authentikit here, as you can see. Bring this central for you. Go to Properties, and it'll bring up the joystick test. Now, it won't show this when you first run it. I've calibrated this. So I've got all the different... like a mixture, X for mixture, Z for throttle, and, well, Y for propeller. It's all working fine. I've got the full range, but it's got a beautiful resolution, this. If you haven't, I can go through this with you. Yours may be showing slightly different. And the parking brake, of course. Oops, it's out already. In. Out. Oh, that's on. That's off for the parking brake. What you will have to do when you first do this, go to Settings tab. So again, from this screen, Here, properties, just in case you don't know how to do this, settings, tabs, and calibrate. And you calibrate your device. Shows this in the video I've linked from Authentikit, but I'll go through it with you again, there's no harm. You go next there, you Z for throttle, Z for zoom, as they call it. Just push it full in. And pull out, full out rather. Next, X for mixture. Full out and full in. By the way, while I'm doing that, let me show you the resolution. It's got a higher resolution than any of these kits. So, you know, for example, the Velocity, the Velocity 1 flight yoke, that's got push-pull levers. But you can see that mighty resolution you get here. This is a lot more than those, even the commercial units I've found. So there you go. Full out, full in. Next, Y rotation will be your mixture. Sorry, I've got to get my hand there. Full out, full in. And next, and finish. And when you've done that, you should have full range with those bars. You can see there the Z, for example. I'm going to test them all because I've just recalibrated it. Should have full range with those bars. So it'll go all the way down and all the way up. All the way out and all the way in, maybe. And as you can see. And that's how you do it. Once you've done that, you don't need... And just apply that. Well, I'll cancel it because mine was set up anyway. Once you've done that, you don't need any other software running. As you'll see in Microsoft Flight Sim, it will detect this in control options and actually detect it as Authentikit as well. You don't need any other software running in the background for this to work. It's a Windows controller. Isn't that fantastic? Let me now jump into the sim and show you this in action in Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay, my friends, back at a very murky looking London City Airport, isn't it? That's just live weather at the moment, which I do enjoy. Let's get into the cockpit and bring in the camera. Yes, back with my working Comanche TPM unit. Throttle pulled out, of course, park and brake on. Just give you an idea of the way the levers. Look at that, 1-to-1 there. Throttle. Oh, you can see the aircraft responding there. I'll give you a demonstration. I'll go for a quick fly to show this in a moment. And throttle. Parking brake seems a little bit delayed, but I think that's more simphing than anything. It's my aircraft. Oh, propeller stopped. Messing around with stuff there. Anyway, let's pull the parking brake back out. Let me just show you something in settings. So just remove the video for the moment. So settings, to set this up, control options. It will come up once you've got it plugged in and all calibrated. It should come up Authentikit, as you can see here. Click on that. Now I've set mine up. So the throttle unit, throttle axis 1. Don't tick the reverse axis box. Same for mixture. Mixture that could be 0 to 100, but it's fine, whichever one there. But mixture axis 1. And propeller 1 axis rather, and click off the reverse axis and you should be golden there. Just leave that there in case you've got one of these units. It's shown in their video as well. That's all fine. My propeller, yep, it's fine. And parking brakes. To set the parking brake, this is the way you set it up with the parking brake. Just set parking brake there. And then move your parking brake. Obviously it's on there. Just go back. Resume. Obviously within the Comanche tablet, which is to the side there, you just want to set realistic parking brake behavior off. Tell you what, let's just... We can hide the throttle there. Yoke. Put the view back down there. Oh, my poor aircraft's having a fit. Let me just bring in my camera again. And what we can do, we can throttle up. Oh, look at that. Feels incredible. I've got to say. Throttle up. Let's throttle up a little bit more there, all the way. Such an incredible feeling with this. It feels like I've just got my hands on the control there. Wonderful. And that Comanche behaving as it does. There we go, we're up in the air. Gear up. Do I have any flaps in? Doesn't seem like it. You will have to have some kind of trim control. I've got my trim control set to some rocker switches on my XPC yoke, so I can trim down and goodness knows what. Don't need to put the throttle in that far, do we? Should we take it out a bit? Bring that propeller back a little bit as well. So feather the propeller there. Actually, no need to at this altitude. Push that back in. Of course, if I want to do any prop changes, that all works fine too. Better not at the moment. Let's just keep that rich. And there we go. As you can see, it's just especially when you've got that view and you've got this TPM unit, the Authentikit TPM unit in front of you. It's just wonderful. Let's pull that out a little bit more. I want to go a little bit slower. Leisurely flight, as you can see here. Just better trim up a little bit just to compensate for that. And there we go, we're on our way. Wonderful unit. Let me now take you to my conclusion and recommendations. So conclusion and recommendation for this incredible TPM Comanche unit from Authentikit. As you can tell, I've no hesitation in recommending this. Costs around, well, it costs £135. Full links down below in the description. You know, one of the most fun parts about this was actually putting the unit together. It was incredible fun to do, and you get an incredible sense of achievement, and look at the result. I mean, look at it on the desk. This is staying. I was looking anyway to either buy or get in touch with people for one of these push-pull TPM units, just simply because I prefer the push-pull levers when flying GA aircraft, which I mainly do in the sim. I'm over the moon to have this, you know, with the hydraulic dampening, Hall effect sensors, and that one-to-one replication of the Comanche TPM unit, which is already a wonderful aircraft. Now with this, it just takes it to the next level. Huge recommendation from me. There is a lot of fiddly bits and pieces with the wires and Hall effect set of putting the unit together. It's just that sense of accomplishment you get. If I can do it, you can do it as well. If you're used to putting these units together, you possibly already got this already. If you haven't, get it on your list. Buy it. If you got a 3D printer, you can just buy the sorts of bits and pieces, the wires and goodness knows what, on metal parts, and you could save even more. If you don't have a 3D printer like me, buy the whole unit, assemble it, and you've got one heck of a unit. You know, there's other units out there. You're paying twice the price, maybe even more than that, for these types of things. And I wonder, because I've not tested them, if they're even half as good as this. I'm over the moon to get this one, and I highly recommend it. Of course, it's going to be for PC flight sim only. Be good to see and great to see this working on Xbox one day, if it's possible. Anyway, do let me know your thoughts below, give the video a like if you've enjoyed it, subscribe for more, and I'll be seeing you soon.